good to live expensively more. Okay, sorry if my tone and everything is completely different. I just like skimmed over the video yesterday and I just want to add this in there for you. Maybe you're gonna roll your eyes, you're just gonna think whatever, but there's a quote, I think it's by Rumi, something like, what you seek seeks you. When you are at like your lowest and everything, as I discussed, there is something that you do deeply desire, and what gets us in that place is feeling like we cannot and we will never ever be able to experience that, feel that, be in that, the proximity of that whatsoever. But in case you need the reminder, sorry about the background noise, what you seek does truly seek you. If you have a desire, it exists for a reason. I heard this somewhere else, I think it might have been on Anila Sita's video, but if you have a desire for something, that means it is possible. You don't need to be 100% sure about it. You don't need to know exactly every single step that you're gonna take. Brittany Lee had a video, it was to do with faith and fear, and she said something about a quote, I think it might have been from the Bible, but it was like something about, you just need, the amount of faith you need is like the size of a mustard seed, and with that you can move mountains, something like that. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering it, really, but just check her video out. I think it's to do with like being fearless or something like that. She's wonderful. I love her talks. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know exactly what you're doing, how you're gonna do it. It's so easy to get lost in the pain of feeling like you'll never be able to get to that point, that you'll never be able to feel XYZ, that you'll never be able to have your desire. But that's not true. Your feelings are not facts. And I think suicidal states, they're an amalgamation of feelings. It's feelings that are like weighing you so heavily, feelings that you have generated on your own because of what you believe about yourself and about the world around you, feelings that you have internalized because of what's going on around you. Like I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying that it's so easy to, from where that point where you are when you're feeling that way, you need to understand that you're not seeing things clearly for yourself. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Because I think that when I've been at my lowest, sometimes that's when I see things clearer than ever. But it's about being able to distinguish, like, man, this is not where I was planning to go with this video. When I've experienced like some serious lows, it happens, it gets bad. I have like the most horrific thoughts about myself, what to do to myself, like all of that shit. It's just, you wouldn't want to be there. It's that type of stuff, right? But I've gotten to this point, it gets to this point, like I would have been there for hours, days, feeling practically immobile and just in so much pain that it almost becomes like you become numb, like you don't even, it's just like a part of you, you're like, ugh, it's, yeah. And I get to this point with myself and I just be like, well, this is just me. I'm like, well, clearly I haven't killed myself. Like, I'm not gonna kill myself now. So what choice does that leave me with? So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll get up. I won't think about it, I'll just get up. And you feel like you're like just following commands, I guess. You're not actually like you don't want to, there's no will to do it, there's no will to do anything. It's just like something else is making you move. Like, that's how I felt. I don't know if you can relate. And I think what it is when you get to that point, not for everybody, and please keep in mind, it's been a few weeks since I filmed that first video, so if I'm saying anything off topic, I apologize. I still hope that this can be of benefit to some people, but I try and use it to my advantage. Nowadays, when I get to that point and I get these thoughts, and it's, you know, horrifying, the things that I can say to myself, I started laughing. Like, I just, not literally, but like, I just don't take it seriously. I don't take it seriously. And this is not, like, if anyone else was experiencing this around me, I would not disregard it. I would not take them seriously. But within myself, my attitudes towards myself, it's like, well, whatever. Like, okay, here we go again. You know, like, I'm just like, whatever. Because I know that what's gotten me to that place is me neglecting key things in my life. And when I see that, I'm like, okay, like, I can, you know what it is? I just see, when you get to that point where you feel like you have nothing to lose, sometimes that's when you can really see, like, the wood for the trees. Like, you can sniff out bullshit like that, because you're not worried about pleasing anybody. You're not, like, when you're like low, like sorry, but like when you're like really fucking down, I think that's when you can be the most raw and vulnerable with yourself. So I will say that there is something to be gained from that. There's something to be gained from these lowest lows. We recognize, like, the thing that's causing you the most pain, that's the thing that you need to heal. So, like, that's where you gotta move. So run towards it. As in, run towards the solution for it. If you're down and you're just feeling all of this pain, like, you know, when you have a wound, you know where the pain is coming from. You can sense it, right? You can locate it. I need you to try and do that when you're down, because when you do that, you can tap into what's missing. And then some of us, we know what's missing, you know? And I don't think I'm qualified to talk about, like, family situations and stuff and, like, provide solutions for that, because I'm grateful in a way that I don't like, I can't be of service, so for that part's annoying, but I'm still grateful that I did not experience some of the shit that I know people do. And yeah, so I'm not qualified to talk about that. But if it's something where you perhaps, you don't know what it is, or no, I'm sorry, you do know what it is, and it's something that you have control over, like, you could change it, it's just that you haven't believed in yourself enough to change it, or you haven't gotten the guts to change it. This is your signal. Like, this is your sign. Pay attention to it. Suicidal thoughts and everything, like, our thoughts, we think, like, that is the command. You know, we get so down. These feelings will be so loud, like, they will scream at you and tear you down and, like, strip you to the bone. Like, they are extremely cruel, but they're not, it's not true. Like, those beliefs, those thoughts, those feelings, it's not true. It's just a symptom of something else. I honestly feel like our natural state is not to feel that way. So if that's going on, there's clearly something out of balance, and that's not to be judged, that's not to be locked away, that's not to be, like, seen as inherently as, like, a problem that that you're broken, that there's something inherently wrong with you. I honestly feel like it's a symptom. I don't think people are born depressed. I think some of us are like perhaps predisposed to it, you know, a little bit more. And it's a series of events that can make us slip into that. But I don't think that we have to just accept that as our fate. That this is all there is and I will never see the light. Just because you haven't seen the light up until this point, it doesn't mean you never will. Bitch, you of all people could see the most of it and you could give it to the world. Oh my god. Just think, there could be someone else out there who's experiencing the magnitude of pain that you are experiencing or worse, and you could help them. What if it's your child someday? What if it is the child you have now? Imagine you could be there for them. But I get it, like, that won't incentivize everybody, and I don't judge you for that. Especially if you're in that low place, like, I don't. Very few things will, like, motivate people. I still, to this day, am trying to figure out what motivates me when I'm at my lowest, because I don't really know, you know? Anyway, I just wanted to like come here and say that if there is something that you deeply desire, it is causing you pain, like you can feel the pain, like you can feel the absence of that thing, and the absence of it is causing you pain. Well, there's a reason that desire exists. You're meant to create something out of it. You're meant to manifest that into your life, and you're not necessarily, that doesn't mean that right now you're going to know exactly how to do it, what steps to take, exactly who you're going to be, when exactly that time is going to come about, but it's a sign that you need to keep moving. If you have a desire, it's a sign that you need to keep moving. No one's telling you how big your steps need to be. No one's telling you, I mean, they might be, but you don't need to listen to them. Like, that's not important. It's really not. Who is anybody else to dictate the pace at which you should live your own life and write your own story? If you're feeling trapped, suffocated, stuck, like you're stagnating, like this is all it will ever be, or I mean, I can only really speak from like perhaps personal experience and like what I've felt and my lows, and I'm sure there are people out there that experience worse like lows than me, and they're probably more qualified to talk about it. People that have like got the qualifications to talk about it can probably talk about it, but I just feel like you don't, it's a choice. You don't have to stick around. I would love for you to stick around, and I know I'm not the only one. There are people out here that you haven't even met yet. There's gonna come a day where someone is gonna thank their fucking lucky stars that they got to meet someone like you. And you know, like, I don't know if I said this in the first video that I took for this subject, but like, people underestimate the power of like one conversation, of one idea, of like one day, one trip to some random place. Like, I don't know, but don't underestimate that the power that you hold within yourself to create change within yourself, within your life. You know what I will say to people that are stuck, like genuinely stuck, like they're perhaps a child or a teenager living in an abusive household, and you feel like you have no support or anything. You know what, I'm aware of some situations, so I can speak a little bit about this. What I say now, well, it won't ease your pain. It won't ease the burden that you have to bear. I will tell you that. What I say now is not gonna be a miracle patch on your life. No. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that you've been dealt this hand, because it's not fair. It's not fair. But I will say that the material, the physical world, has its own timeline. And so we will look at our lives and we will be like, oh, but I've spent 15 years living in this, I've spent 20 years living in this, I've experienced depression my whole life, which is 70 years, etc. And we will, you know, for us, for example, 70 years as a human feels like a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, it's actually really not. And basically what I'm trying to say is, based off of our physical timelines, we believe that we cannot possibly experience more. It's almost like we think that, okay, well, I've spent this much time in this state, there's no way in hell that I could experience that much time or more in the opposite, or in a happier state, or in a healed state. Like, how could I? Or I've lived most of my life this way, so how could I, you know, even like 1% of that, how could that even be possible for me? We think that this is how it will always be, but that can limit us. So what if you've lived 75 years of your life depressed? The last 5 to 10 of them could be the most fucking incredible. And once you're in them, spiritually, you'll realize why you needed those 75 years that way. I never want anyone to believe that you cannot experience the joy that you know is out there for you. Because if you know it's out there, even if you don't know what's out there for you, if you know it's out there, you can have it. You have access to it already. You might not see it in your physical reality, but you have access to it. What I mentioned about seeing how those past 75 years makes sense. We cannot always see it when we're in it, and even if we do see it, it still feels purposeless because it hurts so much. Every day hurts so much, you know. There's no outlet. We are entirely stuck and really, really suffering. Again, I stand by what I said, that I am so sorry. I know of somebody, however, that had a situation like that growing up. Anybody that heard that story, it would make no sense. No, none. You know, it's brutal. But that person, once they became an adult, the empathy that they had, the type of listener that they were, the sense of spirit, tenacity, their work ethic, their joy. Oh my God, on another level, that person knew how to live. They still do. It's the people that have been through the most that get access to real life. Life isn't just the material, achieving things, looking successful, being perfect and getting everything right. I really feel like we need this time. We need the lows, even if it feels like it's going on for years. There is pain out there, and I will not justify it. There will not be a day that I justify it, no matter how much spiritual stuff I believe in. I will even say now, like, the most spiritual people will also stand with me on this one. There cannot be justification for human action, which is just so ridiculously evil. But I just want you to know that if you're experiencing that type of low, that type of darkness in your life, there is a purpose to it that you may never know. You may never know it. But you can create something meaningful out of it. And that is your power. Whether you choose to do anything about that or not, it is up to you. And I don't judge you for it. There are situations and there are circumstances in this world that I have had the fortune to not experience. And I'm sure for half of, the majority of people, if we were to experience what perhaps you are experiencing, we wouldn't be able to handle it the way that you have been. So I applaud you. I applaud you for not giving up on yourself, because it is hard. You know what? I'm checking my language. If you commit suicide, are you giving up on yourself? I don't know. As I've said, you know, we all inherently have value. And it would be an awful shame to lose someone like this. But yeah, I just wanted to come here and add that. I don't know if I'm talking complete crap. I really hope I'm not. I really hope this makes sense and that it can help. If you really, truly, I shouldn't even be saying this on the internet. If you really truly feel that's the way for you, then please at least do yourself the favor of doing it in a way that's quick and you're not suffering for weeks at an end, because I think you've suffered enough. If you're at that point. But I really hope that you choose not to, for your own sake. I think I've said enough, and I think if I say anything else, it's just that we all know our own situations the best. But I encourage you to believe in something bigger for yourself, bigger than the pain that you're feeling, bigger than your physical circumstances, bigger than the thing that's hurting you or the things that are hurting you or the people. I need you to believe in a happy ending for yourself. Whatever that means for you. I need you to believe in the light for yourself. Yeah, as I said, if you know of its existence, if you are aware of its existence, you have access to it. Just a mustard seed of faith. To put one step in, like one foot in front of the other. So if you choose to move, you can do it. You can do it. It doesn't take a special type of person to not quit. It doesn't take a special type of person to achieve the things you want to achieve. It doesn't take a special type of person to become who you always wanted to be. It just takes you. It takes a regular person. It takes you and your strengths and your weaknesses and all that you are. You where you are right now. Perfect. Great. Where else would you want to start? This is it. This is where you're going to start. This is your story. Write it. Yeah, listen, I need to go. I'm doing it. I'm not in your shoes. Somebody who's got it worse off than me. I'm not. I think we can all say that. You know, I mean, to be fair, book by a cover, but then again, I have shared enough. Like, I could have it worse, right? We all know that. I really could have it worse. But you can try with me. This life thing, it's worth a shot. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. Right, cheerio. Hope I see you in the next video.